Hi guys, in this video I cover the increment and decrement operators in prefix and postfix notation. I also point out the special consideration that you have to take into account when using these operators as part of another statement. Let's declare a variable named a initialized to 1. And a very common way in programs is to have a variable that is incremented by just 1. So we look at the increment operation. The standard way of writing it would be a plus 1 assigned back to a. In another video, I explained the compound operators. So I used plus a plus equal 1. Now another way of writing this is writing a plus plus. And this here uses postfix notation. Postfix notation simply means the plus plus operators come after the variable name. Another way of writing this would be plus plus a. This one is prefix notation. So there are 4 different ways of writing or incrementing a variable by 1. All of these can be used interchangeably if each statement is written by itself. Now with the increment operators, a plus plus or plus plus a, there's a big difference if these are used as part of another statement, which I'll get to in a moment. But first let's take a look at the decrement operators. So decrement a variable by 1, we could write a minus 1 and assign the result back to a. Using the compound operator, we could write a minus equal 1. And now with the decrement operator, we could write a minus minus 1. This uses postfix notation, or minus minus a in prefix notation. Again, these can be used interchangeably. You probably want to use a minus minus or minus minus a, since these are the shortest and you have less to type, more time to do something else. But if they are part of a larger statement, then there's a difference. So let's take a look at a special consideration. Or in other words, prefix versus postfix. What is the difference? So to get started, let's reset a back to 1. So we assign 1 to a. And then I use a printf statement to output a. Then I want to show what happens if we increment a with the postfix increment operator. So we do a plus plus. Now up here we just reset a to 1, so this should output 1. What will this output? I had a line break so that the output is cleaner. So let's see if you guessed it right. Both of these output 1. What is the reason for this? Now the reason for this is that the postfix notation reads a, and after that it increments a. And when it reads a first, it essentially executes the surrounding statement with the current value of a, which is 1, and after that it increments it. In other words, it does printf with a, and after that it does plus plus a. It's kind of like executing 2 statements. And prefix versus postfix means, should this come after or should this operation come before? Now if I execute and output a again after this, a should now be 2. So you can see it is 2, but it outputted here the value of 1, then it incremented it, and now it is 2. So this one here was increment in postfix notation. Let's now take a look at increment using prefix notation. So for this, again, I reset a to 1. I output the value of a. Output a, so this again should be 1. Then I perform plus plus a. And what would this output? So let's run this. And here, this one outputs a right away. So let me actually add a statement here. This is decrement operator. If I run this again, now we can see it more clean. So here I reset A to 1, then I perform plus plus A. So plus plus A increments A, and then it reads A. Or in other words, it performs A plus plus, and then printf with A. Right now it's prefix, so it does the plus plus statement for. Here in postfix, it does plus plus after. And if we output again, there shouldn't be any change now, because A stayed the same. So if I run this again, it is still 2. For the decrement operator, it's exactly the same. So whenever you use it as part of a statement, think about, do you want to increment or decrement it after the surrounding statement executes or before the surrounding statement executes. So that is a special consideration you should take into account, and you have to consider. If you always use plus plus, you will always use the existing value and then increment later. If you do plus plus first or minus minus first, you will perform the increment or decrement operation first and then read the new value, the updated value. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.